Good morning from a snowy Williams, Arizona, where last night's rain turned white overnight. Let's get out on the road and see what we find today. Of course, Williams is notable for Route 66 fans for being the last town on the old route to be bypassed by the interstate. That occurred in 1984, I believe, a year before Route 66 was officially decommissioned as a highway. But Williams was the last to be bypassed, and thanks to the fact that it lasted into the 80s along Route 66, and of course its proximity to the Grand Canyon, Williams today remains a thriving town, even on days like this when it's a little cold and snowy. Right. Whoops. Okay, so some great motels here in Ash Fork, both abandoned and in use. Neat flagstone building here. I apologize that this video is going to be very crooked. Zettler's Route 66 store, now for sale. That's not a good sign. DeSoto's Salon with a car on the roof. A bit of a preview of the sort of thing we'll see when we get to Seligman. A couple really nice buildings here, one on either side of the street, especially this Methodist church. It's very cool. And of course, one of my personal favorites, their fire hall. Interesting that the volunteer fire department says it wasn't established until 1941, considering the town has been here since the 1880s. Big water puddle. Yep, Arizona car wash.
In the previous video, you heard me complain a couple of times about how Route 66 was really overrun by the interstate and how very little of original Route 66 was remaining. Well, Arizona makes up for that in the western portion of Route 66. In fact, the stretch that starts just west of Ash Fork and runs pretty much through to the California border is the longest stretch of Route 66 that remains intact as a single slab of highway. For me personally, one of my favorite things about Route 66 is that because it was realigned so many times over the course of its existence, there's always a different path you can take. There is no real definitive Route 66. It has been moved and changed and altered so many times, and it always gives you another option. And I think that's one of the reasons why you'll run into people who have done Route 66 multiple times, is because you can make it different, a little different every time. And we're going to jump off of the main road here onto this little gravel alignment. This is an earlier version of Route 66, and it's just going to kind of wind through this little area here, and then we're going to hook up with the current alignment of 66 again. But this is just one of those little side trips that you can make so many of over the course of your trip. And you know, I think you could spend most of your remaining days traveling Route 66 and still not really see it all.
are standing on an abandoned bridge along a abandoned alignment of Route 66 somewhere between Ash Fork and Seligman. And what's really fun here is we happen to time this well. There's a train coming down the track, so we're going to get to see it pass underneath us while we're out here on this old bridge. So as we're waiting for the train, take a look at this bridge. Based on the other ones we've seen along the way, probably dates from the 20s, I would imagine. It's in really good condition compared to some of the other ones we've seen, though. It's a beautiful, beautiful old bridge. Well, you know, sometimes things don't work out as planned, and if you look way down the track there, really poor quality zoomed in that far, but you can see the train that we were waiting for. He hasn't gotten any closer while we've been waiting here, so we're gonna have to get on the road, and our plans of seeing the train pass underneath us are gonna have to just die on the vine here. And at least the good news is that it wasn't a wasted effort. We got a chance to check out this old bridge, and you know, I mean, that itself was worth it. The train would have just been an added bonus, so we're not disappointed. We're just gonna have to some other time. In the meantime, how awesome is that, seeing whoa, we just heard a train whistle off in the distance from the other direction. We might be in luck yet. We were walking away, we were just saying, you know, as soon as we leave, that train's going to start moving. And as you saw, we were just about back at the truck. Heard the whistle of this one off in the distance. So, yay, we're going to fulfill our mission of seeing this train pass underneath us while standing on an old abandoned bridge here on Route 66. Yeah, we're geeks, we understand. You can feel the breeze.
Oh, this is freaky.
Wow. You can feel the air moving from all these intermodals as they pass underneath us. And the bridge has got a little bit of a vibration to it. Wow. That is just a weird, weird feeling.
Now, while this isn't your stereotypical Route 66 site or activity that you think of when you think of Route 66, it is very appropriate, because as you get out into the west here, Route 66 really did follow the railway a lot, and trains like this are kind of your constant companion on the road.
Okay, so that was worth the wait, I think, anyway. Okay, now as I was saying the last time we walked through here, doesn't that look great, seeing the trusty old red Ford sitting there on this red pavement, or what's left of this pavement, on this abandoned alignment of Route 66. You really need to have the time to get out and enjoy the highway when you're doing this trip. It's you know, it's way better than the interstate, but it's when you have the time to really stop and check out these abandoned alignments and things that it really really comes alive. When you see both the abandoned B&B Automotive as well as loads of tourist buses, you know you have made it to Seligman, Arizona. Unlike Ash Fork that we passed through earlier, Seligman is a hotbed of Route 66 tourism activities.
That's cute.
You can't pass through Seligman without talking about the Delgadillo brothers. Now, Juan Delgadillo built the Snowcap Drive-In and opened it in 1953, and it's been going ever since. Now, Juan passed away in 2004, but his son and daughter continue to run the Snowcap today. It's part drive-in, part kitschy garden with all sorts of weird Route 66 related things. It's just an absolute must-stop place. The other half of the Delgadillo brothers is Angel. Now, Angel started the historic Route 66 Association of Arizona in 1987 and really kick-started the movement of preserving Route 66 and really turning it into a destination of itself. And this is his barber shop, which is often called the birthplace of Route 66.
Do you want to go in here now?
May as well.
Wild frogs. I remember that from last time.
Uh-huh.
Wild frogs was Germany. Morning. Thank you.
So let's step into the barbershop portion of Angel's place here. And, even at age 91, apparently you can still occasionally catch him cutting hair in here if you happen to time it right.
I don't know, when he normally does them that, but this one here says American Historic Highway, Save US 66,
awesome.
and there's the significance of the stamp, and I'll just throw that
Oh, I
in
really
your little
appreciate
page
that.
here.
Thank you.
And then, let's see. Oh, right there. Hey, Clarissa?
Yeah.
That's his daughter.
Oh,
morning.
hello.
Yeah.
Good signer.
Yeah. Will you sign it,
Sure.
Katie? My husband and I, we were
Yeah, let's go. No problem. Thank you so much.
So there we go. Angel Delgadillo's barbershop, gift shop. Got to meet his daughter and son-in-law, got our book signed. That's a pretty good stop, I'd say, short of meeting Angel himself.
Skewer, little fella. Lower. There we go. Oh, I love him so much.
I sure hope we don't look like these two by the time we're done this trip.
Well, these two places also have penny machines.
Yeah, we've knocked most of those off the list. The only ones left on that sign are Oatman and Barstow. All right. Yeah, if I remember correctly, I loved this building.
Yeah.
An old drugstore or something, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's things.
Yeah. Whew, things are booming in here. We picked up a hitchhiker along the way. yeah. An old Diamond Rio.
Wow. That's nice.
Oh, yeah. And of course, interior shot. Oh, yeah. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Hey, look at that. That is just beautiful. Featured on a lot of t-shirts and mugs and all sorts of Route 66 souvenirs right here in Seligman. All right, so that's gonna do it from Seligman. There's really like two Seligmans. There's the Seligman you saw here today when the tour buses are in and places are crowded and hopping and all sorts of action. When the tour buses roll out of town here, it has that standard Route 66 small town feel. So it really depends on when you visit, what your experience here is going to be like. Both of them are unique for their own reasons. Not sure I really like crowds all that much, but today wasn't so bad. So it was a good visit. If that looks like a service station from the movie Cars, and it does, we must be at Grand Canyon Caverns here in Arizona. It's all decked out for Halloween. To bring little Sinclair with a chance to meet Zoomy the dinosaur. Bye-bye, Zoomy. We'll see you next time. Let's see what else we can find here. It's pretty windy here at the Caverns Inn. Typewriters, rotisserie oven, great old Hamilton Beach Mixmaster in that classic color, stand mixers, movie stars, space stuff, tin cans. We spent a lot of time in here the last time we visited. Ooh, the Matchbox Fire Eater fire truck. I have two of those stashed away somewhere at home. And as you know, big fan of old radios. Ooh, reel-to-reel tape deck. That's nice. I like that. Bunch of old albums. And of course, vacuums. We learned a lot about those at the vacuum cleaner
I'm
museum.
wearing my vacuum museum t-shirt today, so that's appropriate.
That is, yes. Just a quick stop here at Truxton to shoot the Frontier Motel sign and this neat chef on the side of the cafe. Both long since closed, as you can see. If you wonder why we seem to be kind of motoring along here and perhaps not giving places like Grand Canyon Caverns their due, it's because A, we came through this area a couple years ago, and B, it's because we're hoping to get to Oatman today to see the burros. So, time to get back on the road. Welcome to the Hackberry General Store, probably the busiest stop between Seligman and Kingman. So let's go check it out. Saying just like that, the crowd cleared out. Royal Crown Cola. tetanus garden. Burma shave signs. Big mistake many make. Rely on horn instead of brake. Burma shave! Now the general store here in Hackberry actually is out on a newer alignment of 66. The original one was dirt and ran right into Hackberry, the town in general. We're not going to take the time to check that out today. We were in there a couple years ago when we last visited this area, so maybe I'll insert a couple photos. The school in Hackberry itself is pretty cool. I'll maybe, like I say, throw a couple photos in here of the old school and of Hackberry itself. Jackrabbit crossing. It's kind of sad that the jackrabbit's quite a ways behind us now. That was, can't believe that was just yesterday. We've, after 14 days now on the road, a lot of places are starting to blend together, and we're definitely on the far end of our trip now. I just keep thinking of how the people who drove cars like this must have really had a lot of fun trying to negotiate the Oatman Highway, which is coming up here later this afternoon. Right, time to poke around inside.
How you doing?
Good, thanks. Alright, that's it from the iconic, and yes, I'm using that word again, Hackberry General Store. Time to carry on down the road. Windy and Terry's Point, the home of Giganticus Heticus. And there he is. Apologize for the wind noise, but not much I can do about that. It is what it is out here in Arizona today. At one point, my dad actually owned an old International Harvester truck, very similar in vintage to this one. Kind of wish he had kept it. One more stop on the way to Oatman. This is another one of the must-stop places. This is Cool Springs, Arizona. Yeah. Well, certainly not today.
Not today.
Cool Springs is living up to its name.
Well, I think the main reason they call it Cool Springs is the water we get from an underground spring is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good drinking water.
Oh, yeah. So that's great. The last time we came through Cool Springs, it was a bit late, a little bit after hours, so we weren't able to get inside and take a look around, but we certainly got a lot of shots from the outside. So it was really great to get inside, talk with the owner, find the geocache that's hidden inside the office. A good time. Now we just got to get through Sitgreaves Pass and get to Oatman.
This section of Route 66 is legendary and notorious for blind curves and hairpin corners. Sitgreaves Pass used to be one of those places where locals could make money by agreeing to drive travelers' cars up and over it for them. And as I said back in Hackberry, you can understand when you had these gigantic cars in the 40s and 50s where you had no power steering, no power brakes. This must have been a really harrowing trip for a lot of people. It's not so bad for us. I mean, we have modern conveniences like power steering and power brakes, and yeah, while the truck is big, it certainly is not that difficult to maneuver around these corners. I actually really enjoy this stretch of road. This is the second time I've driven it. It actually was bypassed in 1953 and went with a much straighter route that runs south and then back into Needles. But then you would miss Oatman, and nobody wants to miss Oatman. Alright, with Sitgreaves Pass successfully negotiated, we have made it to Oatman, Arizona. Oatman is a true Wild West boom town. There was a major gold strike here in 1915. Almost overnight, the town grew to be 3,500 people. And then in 1924, the mine shut down. The town survived because it was on Route 66 until the 1950s, and then it became pretty much a ghost town. Many of the miners abandoned their burros to become feral, and those continued to live in the hills and thrive in the wild, and now they come into town and tourists come by like us and feed them, and it pretty much keeps Oatman a really happening place.
Traffic jam, Oatman style. So is Oatman during burro time everything you thought it would be?
Oh yes. I love all hooved animals, so it's awfully fun to pet the burros and feed them and interact with them, and it's nice to see the town a little more lively. Hi. Oh yeah, you know what's coming. Don't get pushy. There you go. Yummy. Yeah. You're aggressive, aren't you? Here you go.
Okay, one for you is like Christmas. There you go. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, I fed a lot of them, so. Thank you. Yeah.
The Oatman Hotel here is another major attraction in town. It was built in 1902. It's been used as a location for several movies such as How the West Was Won and Edge of Eternity. And Clark Gable and Carol Lombard actually had their honeymoon at the Oatman Motel in March of 1939, and their honeymoon suite is still preserved upstairs to this day.
There's like a line folder. I can't remember now if I've just seen it. Oh, wow.
Yeah, the building is fantastic. we have nothing. Nothing. We have nothing. Thank you. Move along. Nothing to see here. Hello, friend. Don't mind us. We're just passing by. Don't kick me.
Don't feed me anything.
Aww.
Because she just drinks Mama's milk.
Do you mind if I take a little shot here? No? I'm not paying you, right? No. They're only interested if you've got hay cubes, it seems. Other than that, they want nothing to do with these lousy tourists.
There's your mom.
Don't walk out into traffic. I'm sorry, officer. I didn't realize I was speeding. Would you like to see my license and registration? Oh, wow. I must have done something really bad. They sent 2 of you over to check me out. Well, that's it for Oatman. When we originally planned this trip, our goal was Needles, and then after we thought about it a bit there a day or 2 ago, we thought maybe we'd stop in Kingman and hit Oatman in the morning. In the end, we got through there a lot faster, so we decided to come through to Oatman. So we're going to press on to Needles and see if that's as far as we get tonight. Well, we made it to California.
Sure did.
So we're here at this old stone billboard, which now basically says welcome. Yeah, we're here. There's a number of bridges in the area here that used to carry Route 66 over the Colorado River. But welcome to California, the final state on our trip. Oh, unless I miss my guess, that roadbed, which is now gated and blocked off, originally went over to that bridge in the background there, which was what greeted people on their arrival into California for many, many years. No more vehicular traffic, just used for a pipeline now, but that was the original entrance into California on Route 66. The one today, not quite as architecturally interesting. I-40 crossing over the Colorado River. Nice train bridge in the background. But all these vehicles coming into California along what is now sort of the approximate pathway of old Route 66.